Welcome back, everyone, to Ultimate General Civil War. It's been a while since I played, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I have been traveling a lot, but secondly, Shiloh was just presenting such an issue for me because of the way that the Confederates operate in this mod, where if they have an advantage, they just charge right into you. That I spent probably 15 to 20 hours playing through different ways of trying to win Shiloh, and realized that no matter what I did, he was just going to charge 3,000-man brigades into everything that I had, and there was no way for me to get out of Shiloh with my army at all intact. Most of my units were going to end up surrendered, captured, destroyed, and it just in the end did not seem worth it. So I have made the very painful decision to abandon Shiloh. I just retreated my army to keep it intact, which meant I lost the battle, and with it lost most of my reputation. I'm down to one reputation, which means under no circumstances in these next 4 battles can I afford to even draw a battle. I must win all of these battles. Gaines Mill would be huge to win. I could get away with a draw at Gaines Mill, but Rendezvous, Seven Pines, Secure River all must be won, because even a draw is a negative on reputation. Obviously this sets me back because it really helps the enemy having won Shiloh, but I still feel like having gotten past Shiloh, we now are in a situation where we can actually do some good and start working toward victory. Start building up an army that's got experience, that's got decent weapons, and it's going to start here at Rendezvous. We've got 13 brigades exactly in our army. We're going to have 22,000 soldiers and 55 guns. He's going to outnumber us significantly, but he has no guns. He's got 22 brigades, which means he's a little more spread out, that he doesn't have any big, huge brigades, or at least he shouldn't. We're going to go ahead. I think we can. No, we're going to lose our star if we go down and go up beyond 10 in that one. So here's what our army looks like. We've still got in each division one of these 3,000-man Springfield 1842s. It'll be good for melee combat. But you can see the morale situation. -9 on that unit. -3. Most of our units have negative morale, which is going to make things a challenge, at least for the next couple of battles, till we can build that reputation score back up. But I think Rendezvous is probably a good place to start, so let's dive in. A rumor from a Virginia civilian says a rebel force of 17,000 is moving to Hanover Courthouse. Our scouts estimate enemy strength to not exceed 6,000, but it's still a cause for concern. We already know it's 27,000, so it's actually way more than either of those estimates. And we must advance and deal with the threat. Our main army needs to keep pressing the rebels toward Richmond so that you have no more than 1 division. Well, I've actually got an entire corps, but okay. Unless we're going to get some reinforcements along the way, which I guess is probably the case here. I vaguely remember this battle. Defend your position at the meeting point. After you merge your forces, you'll be able to proceed to Hanover Courthouse. Can now afford extensive losses before our attack on the rebel capital. Okay, so we are not going to start with our entire army. So I think it's really important that we start with as many men as possible. We're going to keep our melee guys right out front. We're going to keep as much artillery as we can to start as well. So these are all our, we got another 3,000-man unit we can bring into the battle here. And then maybe some more guns, or we might just bring the Cav. Yeah, I think we'll bring the Cav just because of the flexibility that gives me. Okay, let's go. So, change of plans. I decided that my best course of action, and this is completely dictated by the fact that I know that what he does on this mod is just charge into me, and he will melee attack even if he's outnumbered 4 or 5 to 1, because he knows he can win. He will drive right through my lines and hit my artillery behind it and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just tired of it. It's why I gave up on the Battle of Shiloh, because I just kept getting melee attacked by absurd numbers and losing. So what I'm going to do instead is I pulled back to this line here, so that if he does decide to do his melee attacks, which I know he will, he's got to charge down the hill, through the water, and at my protected line in the woods. And I know I've got low morale, so for these first couple battles with this really low morale, I've got to be cautious. Plus my reinforcements are going to come from this side, so all of this is going to allow me to have the most advantageous position possible until my reinforcements arrive, until I can inflict some casualties and then counterattack and take the objective. Which I do have to take the objective or else the campaign is over. So we'll wait until maybe about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so left. And then we'll charge. And hopefully by then we will have inflicted enough casualties to where we can just make a beeline for the objective and take it when it's over. Should have some more artillery coming in too. There we go. 3-inch ordnance. So we can park that on the hill back here. I've got my cav here. I could maybe do some recon with them if I need to. Okay, he's not charging yet. He's just kind of sitting tight. Let's move these skirmishers up and start hitting him. Of course, the problem is I have a lot of Springfield 1842 smoothbores, so they don't have a lot of range. Alright, there we go. Now we're starting to engage them a little bit. And I'm pretty content to shoot it out until we have to go after the objective. In the meantime, just inflict plenty of casualties on him. Really hoping he'll try to attack me somewhere. Now we'll have our full strength. We are still outnumbered, but he has no artillery. There we go. Yep. See, he started taking casualties, so now he's going to do what he does, which is charge with 1,200 men into thousands. I mean, look at this. 1,200 men. I've got 3,000 here, 3,000 more there. I've got artillery behind them. I've got another couple of units in support. I knew he would do this. It just makes no logical sense, but that's what he does. Beautiful. Get wrecked. Alright. Why hasn't he surrendered yet? That's what would happen in my situation. He'll wait until he gets... Oh, there we go. Until he gets nice and far away to where he can unsurrender them again. Alright, that helps. Nothing happened on the north end of my line at the moment. Still got an hour and 42, so that's plenty of time. Right, I'm going to send these skirmishers across. Alright, I want my artillery not firing on skirmishers. I want them firing on main bodies. Do the most damage possible. He doesn't have any artillery of his own, so I can use my 3-inch ordnance to fire on his troops and not doing counter battery fire. I want to try and draw him into something here. Okay, I've still got about an hour before I feel like I'm going to have to start advancing toward the objective. I think there's plenty more damage we can do in the meantime. Here comes another ridiculous charge. I'm a little weaker on this side, but that's okay. I've got Cav over there. And he's got no infantry support. Alright, charge into him, Walton. Alright, this is going about according to plan so far. Oh, he's got more back there. I gotta be careful with Walton here. Alright, disengage. Disengage, Walton. Disengage. Get out of there. Get out of there, please. Look at this. 1,300 men charged into 5, 6, 7,000. Supported by artillery. Alright, at least this unit is not going to get unsurrendered. Okay, let's bring Kimball across. I do not need to start putting myself in position to take the objective. Don't want to get too crazy though. He's got a 3, oh no, that's a 2-star unit. Okay. Comes another charge. And another one. Lovely. Pretty much that's what I'll have to do, is I'm just going to have to plan every one of these battles around how I'm going to defend against these crazy bonsai charges by the Confederates. And then counterattack. At least until I get myself some 2- and 3-star units. And get my morale up to where they can hold their own in these situations. And that'll be a while yet before we're in that place. Alright, here comes another one. Just keep doing it, buddy. Soften yourself up just so I can take the objective. I'd like to see another one of these units surrender in these situations. Ah, he surrendered, but he's going to immediately unsurrender because he surrendered way out there. Which means now he's just going to dissolve. No, he didn't quite dissolve. It looks like he's pulling back, though. I'm going to go ahead and reattach these skirmishers since they're getting a little lower on manpower. I send my cav over there. Yeah, he has decided that he has seen enough. And the funny thing is that all he needed to do was hold the objective, so he had no reason to even attack me. But that's how he operates, so we're just going to play to the enemy's mindset. Know your enemy. Know how he thinks, know how he acts. Respond accordingly. I want to target these guys over here. Keep the cav back. Still have an hour. Now, I probably could have waited a little bit longer, but I didn't want to have an impossible task where I had to get really, really aggressive in order to take the objective when the time came. Here comes another charge. Let's keep the cav nearby. Start advancing. Keep as much firepower as I can on these guys. The main reason I'm keeping the cav nearby, I don't want to charge into him with my cav, but if he does break one of my units, like these guys right now, they're already wavering. I know I can stem the tide. No, Pegram, don't turn. Please don't turn. You're just going to end up exposing your flank. Okay, here comes another melee attack. Lovely. Alright, these guys just surrendered. Not entirely sure I'll be able to make that hold. Let's try advancing to protect the line there. These guys should certainly surrender, given their circumstances. Yep, beautiful. Let's get him out of there before he charges in and unsurrenders them. Which is exactly what he's trying to do right now. So I have to charge them first to keep that from happening. I want to pause for a second, just kind of reorganize. Okay. This might end up being a bit of a mess over here, because the odds are even, which means he'll probably win. But I was trying to buy myself some time to get that surrendered unit out of there. Alright, we got another one. He's running out of units now. That's 4 that have surrendered. Maybe at some point you'll learn not to do that anymore, buddy. Alright, we gotta start pressing forward. We've got 50 minutes. Now we need to get this one to surrender here. Yeah, he's routing. That's good enough. We'll take it. Things got awfully quiet on the line now. Let's get him over there. Get him over there. Where's the 4th one? 1, 2. Oh, here we go. Lovely. Lovely stuff. We should definitely get some good experience. Hopefully start leveling up some of these units. Start building our morale back up. Actually, I'm just going to hold Andrews right there for now. We have 47 minutes. We've sufficiently weakened the enemy to where we ought to be able to move in and take the objective. Keep that cav close. Alright, I'm going to bring Andrews around. I'm going to hold Brooks right here just to cover my northern flank in case he decides to sneak somebody back there. Alright. My artillery's probably not going to make it to where they can keep covering me by the time we move them. But that's okay. I think we're good. Now we just sit tight. Cause some more of his units to just melt away. We got 35 minutes. All right, there we go. We got a brigade right there on my flank. Let's go deal with them. Alright, all the surrendered units are out of the way. Trying to get the artillery in position to be able to support me. He is parking everything he's got left around the objective. We've got 30 minutes to go. Alright, I want to get this artillery up here so we can start hitting the center. I'm going to drive these guys off if I can. Okay. We're in position to be able to charge through and take the objective now. Oh, are you kidding me? Kimball just broke while standing there. That's the morale problem. That's alright. He was in a rough spot because he was being fired on from two sides. Alright, we're going to soften up this 2-star unit that's holding the objective. 24 minutes. So you can see what we're doing. We're just focusing everything I've got on this 7th North Carolina. He's down to less than 600 men. We've got 15 minutes left. What I'm hoping will happen is we soften him up to where we just walk in. We don't have to go crazy and charge with all these guys to take the objective at the last minute. Yeah, you can start to see some of the other units are dissolving. No. My darn artillery is switching targets. I want everybody on that target. They're wavering. I'm hoping 1 or 2 more minutes is going to be enough. I was hoping they would just dissolve. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we're going to have to charge. Oh, now he's gonna charge at me with 500 men? Alright, cool. Go for it. Alright, we secured the meeting point. It's contested for the next 42 minutes. That might be a problem. Good job, Walton. Jeez. Kimball's 2,500 men are still falling back. I think we got it. He's not in a position to be able to retake it. Just doesn't have the manpower. Although Loomis is getting flanked, and that could be ugly. Alright, timer's up. But I think we got to keep fighting. Oh, no, we did. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we inflicted 7,000 casualties. We lost 3,500 men. But we also inflicted another 3,400 missing. So he's actually, it's 10,500 casualties to 3,800. When we had basically even numbers. That artillery came in huge for me in that battle. Specifically, let's take a look and see how individual units did. So Woods with those Lorenz rifles. I do like this change in the mod where it tells me exactly what kind of weapons these different units have. You can see the difference that having those rifled guns has, like the Lorenz's and the Springfield 1861s. Inflicted heavy losses. So we're going to definitely want more of those as we move forward. Louis Wagner is now Brigadier General. I think all of my division commanders are now Brigadier Generals. We've got a colonel. We did lose one colonel wounded, but we've got a good supply of officers now in the pool. Okay, that helps. That helps us get our feet back under us after what happened at Shiloh. Gets us a little more in terms of recruits. The morale penalty goes down a little bit, but it's still pretty rough. The question is, where do we spend our career points? I don't think I need any more in Army Org right now. Politics might be a good spot as far as getting golds, recruits, and reputation moving forward. Resupply discount, increased amount of weapons from reputation buys. Economy will give me a discount to weapons. Medicine, of course, that'll help me restore wounded soldiers. Cost of veteran recruits might be helpful. Logistics will help us with ammo. Shop stock multiplier, that might not be a bad thing to have. Maximum supply amount, which I don't think is a huge issue at the moment for me. Recon, I don't think we need to go. I'm going to go politics for the time being. And let's take a look at our situation now after all that. We do have another 1-star unit. Morale damage received. It might not be a bad thing right now. Plus 25% to my own charge damage. Yeah, let's go there. Go with that. For both of these units. You can still see that morale is just absolutely awful. It looks like we can go pretty high before we lose the 1-star. So Wagner was actually one of my brigade commanders, but of course we have the benefit that happens from the same unit being led by the same man, so I don't want to replace him with a colonel and throw him over to division command. I'd rather just keep that division commander, who himself should be hitting Brigadier General here pretty soon. Let's at least go up to 1,500 with him. We can go up to 12 with these 24-pounder howitzers now. All of these guys are still pretty maxed out. Let's get our cav built back up. Oh, I thought maybe we were going to get him to 1-star status, but we didn't quite get there. Wouldn't mind having another one of those 800-man cav units. They came in pretty handy, and I feel like having 2 of them together would be even more devastating in terms of protecting me in those melee attacks. Okay, I think I'm going to replace you with a colonel. I want to keep him at 1-star if we can. There we go. Got a decent amount of money and resources available to us. I should take a look and see where we're going to be at the next battle, which is Secure River. Let's just take a look at it real quick. before we think about how we're going to build this army up. So it's going to be, again, pretty even odds, which is not necessarily a great thing. I mean, we were outnumbered in the last battle, unless I can once again do what I did last time, which is sit tight, let him charge into me, weaken him, and then counterattack and take the objective. I think that might be a doable thing. 7 pines, if I remember right. We only get to take a smaller number in, but the odds are pretty decent for us in that one. Let's take a look. Yeah, we only get to take 8 brigades, but he's only got 15,000 men and 13 guns there. So 8 brigades for me, I could take a decent amount of manpower into that. And there's already 7,000 men on the field. So maybe we'll fight that one first before we try to build things up any more than they already are. And then we'll just have that much more to do it with. I might think about upgrading some weapons, though. Let's take a look and see what we've got. And we might not have anything in large enough quantities to do that, except maybe not. Lawrence is going to cost me 111,000 if I want to buy enough for a whole brigade. That is not a doable option. Even if I switched to Springfield 1855s, it would cost 78,000 for a 3,000 man brigade. So that's not even doable. Okay, but that'll be for the next battle. We'll stop right there. I will be back with you again in a day or two with 7 pines. We'll do that one next. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.